Can you tell us the name of the countries that the requests were made for the assistance against the coronavirus? You mentioned the numbers of the countries in 3 regions. Would you mind providing
I don't
some
have
of
the
names?
full list now.
Okay.
What I can tell you is that they are in Africa, in Latin America, and also some in Asia. It's around 15 by now.
Yeah.
So we can provide you with a list later on.
Yeah.
More or less 15 is for detection kits, basically, and training.
I mean, just to follow up on that one, are you planning to do the training and then at the end of the training give this machine to the people
It's
who
done
are
simultaneously.
Simultaneously,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And others? Please identify yourself.
François Murphy from Reuters.
Hello.
DG, hi.
Hi.
Is it a coincidence that your first quarterly report to the board on Iran was, or rather there were 2, and is it a coincidence that it was the first report to call Iran out on the denial of access and it adopted a more critical tone towards Iran?
No, not at all. I think the fact that we have 2 reports is simply the reflection of the reality. As I always said, I tell things as they are. If it happened to be the first, well, so be it. Could have been the 3rd or the 4th. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's no political meaning to it. If this is the underlying question, it's just the nature of the inspection work.
So, sorry.
Please. Yeah.
Hi. Turkish News Agency. Regarding of the coronavirus, I just want to ask about the health situation of the inspectors in Iran. As you know, Mr. Rouhani said the virus spread to whole the country. Do you have a special protection or prevention about these people? I guess you cannot give the a number how many people working there as a security issue, I guess.
Yes, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I've been briefing member states and also my own staff, which includes the inspectors, notably, on this situation, which is a situation of great concern for all of us in our private lives, in our public lives. And we are taking 2, I would say, orientation guidance. One is the UN proper, through UN and through the WHO, the World Health Organization, and also the Austrian federal guidance, because we live in Austria, we work in Austria, and our inspectors need to return here and depart from here. So what these groups are saying is our general guidance. What I can say is that the inspection work in Iran continues without any problem so far.
Mr. Grossi, thanks. Jonathan Tyrone with Bloomberg. I have a question about coronavirus.
Yes.
And I have a quick question about the safeguards report. But first, you mentioned that you're looking at some detection kits, diagnosis kits. What kind of a timeline are you looking at? And what would be the per kit cost? I mean, can you give me a range how much of a cost we're looking at for a diagnosis?
Well, the cost of each equipment is difficult to say, because in some cases, I mean, we use different technologies. Some we receive as donations, so I could look into that. But top of my head, I don't know how much a typical unit would cost in the market. What we are doing, the other part of your question was
just the timeline.
As soon as possible. We have some in stock, and we're working with some countries to get more.
And so this is a week. This means weeks, months,
weeks, days.
Okay. And then on the issue of safeguards, and you said you say it like it is, which is fine. But I didn't see in the report that the 3 locations identified in Iran are from historic work dating back to pre-2004. Why did you not include that element of the completeness?
Chronology. Thank you for the question. It's a very good question. Chronology is not the determinant factor here. what's the determining factor is whether the agency has enough information that there could be activities or material. Then when we get access, hopefully soon, when we get access and we start gathering information and clarifying and engaging, as I hope and expect to be, with the Iranian experts and authorities, we'll be able to get into that.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. My name is Stephanie Lichtenstein. I'm a freelancer. My question is also on the safeguards report on Iran.
Yes.
What is the consequence of this report and the fact that Iran has so far failed to provide more information? What is the immediate consequence, and also maybe the long-term consequence? What if there is no reply from Iran?
Well, basically, this report is my obligation as Director General to indicate to member states what is the situation as we gather for the border governors. So in that sense, I hope that this, by providing this information and by engaging further with Iran, I hope in the next few days or hours, we'll be able to unblock the current situation. So the consequence I expect is to get access, frankly.
Hello, Mr. Grossi. Press
Hello.
TV, Homalezgi. First of all, listening to Iran's response to this, the Iranian ambassador has given out a public note and shared it with the media, saying that the information based on which the agency is making these requests is fabricated or it's come from Israel. Can you tell us how you authenticated these documents, how you determined that they are valid in order to make this request for access? And also, I'd just like to add to this question, about a year ago at this time, Mr. Amona was asked a similar question about requests for access to sites in Iran, and he said that that case was resolved as the PMD case back in at the end of 2015. Is this the reopening of that case?
Well, many things into your two questions. The first is that the issue is that this is the agency information, all right? Once information can come from many sources, we have our own information, we go through a painstaking, systematic, methodological, scientific process of validating and corroborating information. We never take any information at face value, never. So once I put a question to a member state, in this case, Iran, it's the agency's information, all right? So I don't speculate into other things or comments that might have been made. On the other matter, as I indicated, this is a separated thing from what might have been agreed or considered a few years ago. This has to do with information we have now. We are not reopening things. We are not throwing anything new. We are simply getting information which is credible, which we take seriously, and we ask questions. And we expect, and I hope, certainly, that I will be able to engage very soon with Tehran, and we are going to solve this issue very soon.
Yes, sorry, just following up on that. Did you
Yes,
François Murphy
sure.
again? Is that based on the response you've had from the Iranians? Because your report says the Iranians said quite clearly that you can't have access to these two sites.
Right, this is so far the answer. But I never give up.
I understand. I appreciate your optimism generally, but
yeah.
I'm wondering, so because you're being quite specific in saying that you hope this will be unblocked within the next few hours or days, and so I'm wondering if there's been any signal.
No, there hasn't been so far.
That.
No, I have responding to the fact there hasn't been, but we have been insisting. We have been asking them to provide us access, and we are ready to continue that discussion. So this will continue in that sense.
Can I just add?
Yes.
Iran has also officially said that it is ready for political dialogue now with the agency, and it's accepted a visit by the Deputy Director General. What's your view about these further discussions?
What we need is access. This is what we need.
I think that these discussions
and we
are
need a
going to-
technical conversation more than anything else. Of course, I'm open to any kind of conversation. As a DG, I'm very open to have dialogue, but I want to be clear on that what we are requesting is within the competencies of the agency, so there is no interpretation here. Of course, we can talk, we can discuss, and I'm very open to that, but it's a straightforward request within the competencies of the agency, within the strict terms of the additional protocol. So we hope, I really hope that, Iran will revisit its position so far and will give us access very soon.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. My name is Setsuko Inaki. I'm with the Nippon Television Network.
Yes.
Just for the record. To follow up the Iran questions.
Yes.
I mean, this is the first time such a report of this nature came out from IAEA. And what do you expect the governors to do? I mean, do you want the governors to come up with a relatively firm resolution down the road to order Iran to cooperate, or what's your end game? Because now it's out on the field.
Yes, yes. No, you know, that's a matter for the Board of Governors to decide. Each one has its own role in this process. My role is not to expect or to force or to suggest anybody to do anything. My obligation and responsibility is to say exactly how things are and to request Iran to cooperate with us. Now, then the board will have its word, and I don't have any end game or initial game. I just need access now.
Sorry, just a couple of follow-ups to that then. So just to confirm, the DDG will not be dispatched to Tehran for a political dialogue about access, correct? At this time, there's no plans to send Max to Tehran.
The possibility is always open. I still need to engage again with Iran, and we need them to give us access.
Okay, and then, I mean, from this does look like publicly airing dirty laundry, since it is a 16-year-old case, and the AP does allow for decades, as the case of Switzerland last year, which did not receive its broader conclusion until last year. So why are you airing the dirty safeguards laundry in public to the Board of Governors and to the press?
No, what we are doing is different, Jonathan. What we are doing is we have information. It's concrete information. We have validated, and we come to there's a lot of information out there, as you know. Some we consider it credible. Some we consider it either not relevant or perhaps requiring more analysis. So we are not in a rush here. What we are doing is analyzing pieces of information when they are relevant, and when we take a decision to request access, it's only because I got, as Director General, sufficient reassurance from my technical experts that is the right thing to do. That is the moment to, which is in fact not a dramatic situation. It's a moment, as is foreseen in the additional protocol, when you say, I need an access to continue this analysis. This is what it is, really.
Any further questions? Yes. Sorry, just to follow up on that, to
Yes.
clarify just a little bit.
Sure.
You've said before you don't think that deadlines are helpful with the Iranians. Does that mean that you don't want to set any deadlines as far as this access is concerned? For you, this is an open-ended standoff, or is there some point at which this is going to be even more serious?
No, this should be solved. I mean, what's important here is for you to bear in mind, at least as I have it, that this is a case of denial of access under additional protocol. We never had a thing like this before. So and forget for a second, even if it's difficult, forget about Iran. I would invite you all to forget about Iran. If I get a denial under additional protocol for complementary access, this is a serious matter. It's not something that I can put on the shelf and continue. Yep.
But you are dealing with Iran. And I'm wondering, because given how we don't often get an insight into these cases where there's a request for access or a notification of access, and we don't really have a sense of the to and fro. So is this the first time that the Iranians have told you you can't go somewhere? Because there have been cases where it's been difficult.
There have been instances in the past where there was a dialogue
Right.
on access, and it was finally resolved.
Without them saying you can't go there. So I'm just wondering if under the previous DG there were situations where at first the opening gambit was no, and then you negotiated.
The record is there on the past. What I say is now I receive a formal denial.
Okay.
It's not a maybe, let's talk, it's a no. So when I get a no, I say I need the access. So this is about process.
But the denial came in late January, and you only mentioned it in your report in early March. So why not send a report when you received the denial if it was as final as that?
Because I was involved in an effort to try to solve this.
Right, so because then you could argue you didn't see it as a firm denial and you had to establish that it was a firm denial afterwards.
Well, I'm a diplomat, and I never give up.
I'm Yoshitake from Japan's Asahi Shimbun.
How are you?
About this safeguard issue of Iran, is the requirement from the agency dependent on the whether Iran implement the additional protocol or not? What happens if Iran stop implementing additional protocol? I'm asking it because if the JCPOA falls down completely, Iran may say that they don't have any obligations on it anymore.
Well, those are scenarios. I don't think as DG I should get into having other hypothetical scenarios. I think when we are discussing legal matters like this, they are clear. They are very clear. You can request for a complementary access. You get a denial. If you're familiar with the additional protocol, you know that there are ways in which this can be addressed. So far, we haven't been able to do it, which doesn't mean we are not going to. So I wouldn't like to jump into what's going to happen, and least of all with the JCPOA, which is an instrument I'm not a party to. I'm just the inspector to that instrument. It's not for us. It's for those who are still in the agreement.
Once again, on Iran, you as the Director General that need to report to the Security Council quarterly on the JCPOA,
Yeah.
Would you be mentioning about these three sites and incorporation of Iran at the Security Council meeting, or did you make it separate intentionally?
We have the normal communications to the Security Council, and we'll see how we take it from there. But we are not planning to attend any meeting. We haven't been invited, and I don't see a reason now. We are working. We have to solve this issue now.
Sorry. What I was asking was probably a hypothetical question, but
No.
I think we probably should have a look at some point in the future. So, what is your legal understanding of the safeguard and JCPOA and additional protocol?
Well, I think my understanding is, as everybody else, that within the commitments in the JCPOA that the Islamic Republic of Iran is still observing, you have the provisional application, implementation of the additional protocol. So it's a fact. It's not a hypothetical or a preference or a political opinion of mine. It's just what is there. So we are requesting this, and we are not getting the access. So I hope to get it soon.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thanks for the attention. So we'll be seeing each other. Thank you very much.